It's the boring wins that stack up into the things that change your life. And I think this is such a mind shift when you can think about this. So often, I think people want to focus too much on outcome goals. And I get it. Like, we want to talk about results and all that kind of stuff. And they're the things that get you started. They're the things that get you motivated. They're the things that get you into the fucking game. So those things matter. The things that get you into the game matter. And it's why, even for myself, we talk about those things. Like we talk about my client Greg, who is about to hit the 20 kilo mark lost in the 6 weeks of chasing greatness daily. Or how Ray lost 3.5 kilos in 3 days. It's these kind of results that get you off the couch and into the game. But it's the continuous daily activities and it's the daily wins that stack up into those life-changing goals. I was having the discussion with Greg today about it, and it was like, it's not just like, he has fucking killed it. He has absolutely killed the game. And this is what happens when you make a decision and you go all in. What's next is the question. So once you complete the 6 weeks, what happens next? And I was like, well, we go into 126 to greatness. And that's a 12-month protocol. So we go into 12 months of different phases, and each phase has a progression, but they're run in 126-day blocks. So we were talking about that and all that kind of stuff. But it's the daily wins that stack up into these kinds of things. As I said, nearly 20 kilos in 6 weeks. Fucking astonishing. The man's a different man. But not just on the physical level, but on the mental level, on the discipline level, on who he is. And we need to continue down that path. We need to continue doing those things. We need to continue pushing forward with that stuff. That we need to now ingrain those skills. That those outcome goals are fantastic. And it's what's going to get you off the couch. It's what's going to get you into the game. It's what's going to initiate that change and that start. And I've often spoken about it. Delivering incredible results like that is fucking easy. That's the easy work. That's the easy job for me. The hard job is to getting you to maintain it. The hard job is now you've killed it. Now let's not fucking yo-yo. Now let's ingrain it. It's why the next phase is for 12 months, because it needs to become part of who you are. It needs to be ingrained into your personality. It needs to be ingrained in who you are as a man. You need to be the greatest version of yourself. We need to keep those things. We need to sustain those things. We need them to be so habitual that you just go, this is who I am. I'm a man who works out twice a day. I go do a weighted walk and I do a workout. I'm a man who eats good food to fuel my body. I'm a man who drinks 4 liters of water. I'm a man who eats an animal-based diet. I'm a man who does these things. It's not a fad. It's not a craze. It's who you are as a man now. This is what we need to get to. This is where we need to progress to. And that's a hard thing to wrap your head around, that you need to keep focusing on the daily wins, on the small wins. It's why I always talk about it that way. The Seinfeld method. And I think it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely brilliant. The Seinfeld method is you pick your thing, the area of your life that you want to focus on, and every day you tick it off. You put an X on the calendar. And your only job, your singular only job, is to see how many days in a row you can put an X on the calendar. How many days in a row? How long can you make that fucking chain of X's? That's how you change your life. That's how you permanently and long-term change your life. Is you stack the wins daily. problem with that is it's boring. It's unsexy. Nobody really wants to talk about that shit. Nobody wants to talk about doing this kind of work for the next 365 days, for the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. But if you want to lead the best life, and this is the one that we have to keep coming back to, and it's why I keep talking about it, because we need to have this paradigm shift around this, is that you need to give up easy to chase greatness. You need to give up simple and quick fixes so that you can lead your greatest life. You have to give up these things because they don't fucking serve you. You are sacrificing the best part of your life, satisfaction, joy, and fulfillment in your life to keep easy, simple, dopamine chasing things in your life. And that's a fucking problem. That's a big, big problem. And your life will forever stay mediocre. Your life will forever stay exactly the same as long as you keep, treating it like this. That you choose distractions that do not serve you. You choose things that do not provide value. You choose things that are quote unquote fun and enjoyable in the moment over doing things that are going to provide value in your life. Yeah, and I get it. I get it. All the dopamine chasing, junk food, alcohol, drugs, social media, TV, spending money, whatever the fuck it is, I get it. It's fun, but it's not fulfilling. It gives you that dopamine hit and you ride that high and you're like, woo, this is great. And then it dissipates and you need more and you need more and you need more. Because it doesn't actually fulfill you. It doesn't actually provide value in your life. It doesn't actually make a change in you. It doesn't light you up. It just fills a void for a moment. It just creates a chemical reaction in your brain for a moment. It's not happiness. It's not satisfaction. It's not enjoyment. It's none of those things. And that's why it's not making a proper long-term change. It's why it's not making a great long-term impact on you. But for as long as you are, addicted to those things, you're going to stay stuck. You're going to continue to stay stuck and continue to be mediocre and continue to, hate your life. Or you could make a change. Or you could progress forward. Or you could stop settling for things that don't actually improve your life, that don't provide value, that don't push you forward, that don't do any of those things. Stop, settling for average and start chasing greatness. You could progress into everything you've ever wanted. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. Yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable for a little bit. Yeah, you're not going to enjoy all of it. But the satisfaction of it will be greater. You start stacking those daily wins. You keep stacking them and stacking them and stacking them. And you focus on just every day ticking that box, putting the cross on the calendar, becoming the best version of yourself. And soon enough, you'll be shocked at the man in the mirror. You'll be shocked at who you are. You'll be shocked at everything that you have achieved. Because you just kept stacking the wins. You didn't focus on the big things. You didn't focus on the outcome, And I think this is one of the areas where people get lost because they keep choosing easy because they're like, I haven't dropped 20 kilos yet. That's not how you drop 20 kilos. You know how you drop 20 kilos? How you completely transform your body? How you get into the greatest fucking shape of your life? One fucking day at a time. I cannot get past the concept that we are all addicts in one form or another. It just depends on what we're addicted to. And that we need to treat changing our life like we're an addict, like we're in AA or whatever it might be. that we can't say that we are never going to go back to that person, but all we can do is control right here, right now, this day, this moment. Did I win this? Yes, no. And just win the day. Win the moment. Was I able to put another cross on the calendar? Did I do the things that I said I was going to do? Yes, no. Make it really simple. Make it binary. Make it as straightforward as possible. And you stack enough of those wins together. You stack enough of those days together. And suddenly you're a very, very different man. Suddenly you've achieved things beyond your wildest dreams. Suddenly you've achieved everything that you'd ever hoped for and more. Suddenly you're shocked at the new goals that you have to set. But the problem is, if you're constantly focusing on that big outcome goal, if you're focusing on that end point, it's going to be really difficult to give up easy for long term, because you're constantly going to be comparing yourself to the end result that you haven't gotten yet. You're going to be constantly comparing yourself to that result that hasn't arrived yet. So instead you focus on today's win. And then you also build momentum within that, because you're winning the day. And then you win the next day, and then you win the next day, and then you win the next day. And you just keep stacking those fucking wins. Day after day after day after day. You keep stacking wins. And you build this momentum, and suddenly you're like, holy shit. Look how far I've come. Look at all the things I have achieved. Yeah, I gave up easy for greatness, but I did it one day at a time. It's like, I don't think you can look at it and go, I'm going to give up these things that, yeah, they are dopamine chasing and they don't actually provide value, but it's hard to separate the satisfaction and the fun from them in the short term. Until you get away from it, you don't realize how little value they're actually providing. But you can't be like, I'm going to never do that again. Like, I'm never going to doom scroll again. I'm never going to drink alcohol again. I'm never going to watch TV again. I'm never going to do, any of these dopamine chasing things again. I'm never going to eat sugar again. You can't on day one be like, I'm never going to. It's an insurmountable concept and just makes it seem too gigantic. So of course you're going to fucking quit. Of course you're going to call bullshit on it. Of course you're going to be like, no, I'm not going to do that. But you can be like, I'm just not going to do that today. And then you don't do it the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And suddenly you've strung a whole series of days together. Suddenly you're a year in. And you're like, holy fuck, how did I get here? Because you just focused on winning the day. And that is truly, truly the secret sauce to it. So, if you're ready for that, if you are ready to join Chasing Greatness Daily and begin that process, shoot me a message. Let's get you into Chasing Greatness Daily. If you're not quite there yet, click the link in my bio, grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. And lastly, if this spoke to you, if you enjoyed it, if it's something that you need to continue hearing, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. But most importantly, hit subscribe, because the majority of people who are watching this are not subscribed. And I'm going to be back again tomorrow, and I don't want you to miss it. Until then.